How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about FuboTV. You guys know how much I love this stock for the long term. And of course, it's been a minute since I've given you guys an update. They released earnings and everything. And I'm like, you know what? I got to get this video out. I won't waste any more time. So let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you are a shareholder or you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to be going over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. Are there going to be opportunities for the coming week? We're going to be finding out. And then we're going to be taking a look going on Fintel at the short interest information and as well as the recent institutional ownership. Of course, we want to see if institutions are loading up on shares and does FUBO continue to have short squeeze potential. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. Were institutions loading up on shares on Friday? We're about to find that out. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more key details. So we're going to be doing a technical analysis for FuboTV. Let's see how it performed on Friday. So it ended up closing the day at $25.36, being up 0.83%. On the low, it tested $24.95, and then on the high, testing $25.67. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 3.855 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days being at 10.915 million shares. So when we take this into consideration, this is well below the average. Of course, this is no surprise. We noticed this with a lot of stocks, but we still ended up having a green day, which is good to see. The chart we're using is a 1-year daily chart. When we take a look at the RSI down below, you can see it's right around 43.14. So yes, we are in the oversold territory. And then when we take a look at the moving averages on our chart, we can see for the 200-day, we are below that. We're also below the 21-day EMA, but we are sitting right on the 100-day where it's at 25.07, and we ended up closing at 25.36. But one thing to take notice of, we're actually sitting right on support here. So this actually looks like a good setup that can happen going into next week. We could end up seeing some momentum where I would definitely want to see a test here at the 21-day EMA at $27.25. I think this is very doable, but one thing to keep in mind though, as far as it can pull back to, it ended up going to $24.95. So I wouldn't be surprised if we end up having even a pullback testing into the mid 24s. And of course, I don't want to see hold up the $24 level. That'd be the most preferable situation. But also to keep in mind, when we take a look at the price action here, once it gets to $26, we already know this is going to be a psychological area for FUBO. Once it's able to get past 26, this is where I was saying it can gain a good amount of momentum here. There might be some selling pressure, yes, but for the most part, I'm expecting a move up. So if we can reclaim that 21-day, like I said, then of course I'll be looking out for a test for $28. So we're on Fintel. We're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and the short interest information for FuboTV. So as we scroll down on the page, green rows indicate new positions while red rows indicate closed positions. So what we could see right away as of late, we could see there is some closed positions here, but for the most part, we have a lot of open positions. And as far as the amounts, they're fairly significant. We have Nationwide Variable Insurance Trust that went in with just over 23,000 shares. We also have Voya Russell ITM Small Cap that went in with just over 51,000 shares. Advisor Resource Council that went in with just over 169,000 shares. And we can see a continuation of this, but do keep in mind there has been a good amount of closed positions as well. Now, when we go and take a look at the short interest, scrolling down on the page, you can see the short shares availability is at 4.6 million, updated 7 minutes ago. And for the short ball free rate being at 0.87%. Now, when we take a look at the the history of the short volume ratio, we could see for the close of the 18th, it was at 41.35. The close for the 19th, it was at 35.57. And then the close for Friday, it was at 32.92. So it's great to see that the short volume ratio has been going down as of late, especially since it was high as 50.54 on the close of the 17th. So what does this mean as far as for the overall market sentiment? It's a lot more positive for FUBO, and this is what you really want to know, especially if you have a strategy to trade off of this for the short or the medium term. But it also does tell us that FUBO continues to have short squeeze potential. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for FuboTV. So we could see on the inflow side it was 13.75, and then on the outflow side it's 15.54. So on the large we have 0.71, and then on the medium we have 8.67, and then on the small we have 4.37. Now on the outflow side we have 0 on the large, on the medium we have 10.43, and then on the small we have 5.11. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for August the 20th, which was Friday, it was at 712.6. And then when we take a look at the prior days on the 19th, the 18th, the 17th, and the 16th, big time outflows. But of course, this was no surprise at all. They ended up releasing their earnings and they did beat some estimates, and there was a lot of buying going on that pushed the price up. And of course, people started taking profits and selling out of their positions. So when you have that happening, of course, the stock is going to pull back. And also the overall sector for small and as well as medium cap stocks were affected by this. So I just want to make sure that you are understanding of this. And if you are in this play for the long term, you should be able to handle the volatility, and it does provide a lot of opportunities for anyone that wants to be inside of this play and trade out fluctuations. So now let's jump into the final thoughts and as well as some key details that I want to share with you guys. So for my final thoughts for FuboTV, I still believe in the long-term prospects of this company. When I was telling you guys to make sure to load up on shares, it was in the $17 range. Many of you got it even lower than that, and I know many of you have traded off the fluctuations even when it went all the way into the 30 range, trying to double up that money. And you know what? I am not mad at you. I did take some profits along the way, but I still hold some shares for the long term, waiting for that next pullback. Now, when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information, we could see FUBO continues to have short squeeze potential. So this is great to see. So if we end up having a catalyst that ends up coming through the sector, do keep in mind this is online sports betting. They run a streaming service for sports. Just want to be clear about that. We can see some strong moves in overall price action. And as far as for institutions are concerned, they have been loading up on shares, and we can see they did load up on shares for the Friday because it was pulling back a lot, and you could see that from all the previous outflow days. Now, if you're trying to trade off of the fluctuations, be aware of support, be aware of resistance, and see where the market is going. If you see a lot of monies coming out of the small and the medium cap sector, then it may not be the wisest of decisions to be trading FUBO on that particular day. I want to make sure I'm very clear about this because inside the market, we have a lot of sector rotations. So when you're trading, you want to make sure you're in the area where there's a lot of big money flowing in, not flowing out. Unless you're going to be buying puts or you're going to be shorting the stock. I myself personally, that is not my forte. I don't spend a lot of time doing that. I'm more so a bull. You guys already know that who are inside of the private Discord. As far as what's going down inside of the online sports betting industry, yes, North Carolina just passed it through the Senate. So we have another state that is down for it. So this is where I'm trying to get to here. If we end up having more states that end up accepting sports betting and passing it through, FUBO is going to be in a great environment to grow. And this is part of the reasons why I love this growth stock, and I've been preaching and talking about it a lot on this channel. And as far as their growth, especially taking a look at their most recent earnings report, it was very promising. So this is part of the reasons why I'm going to continue to talk about it, and make sure you keep it on your radar. And of course, I got to tell you guys, make sure you do more homework and more due diligence. So if you're going to be inside of this play for the long term, you can handle the volatility since you already will have high conviction. And also, just to kind of make sure I push this to you, you can do some more homework on your own as well about it. Do keep in mind in Q4, Fubo is going to be launching their sports book. So you already know what could happen. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll be talking real soon.